The question in today's video is Severance worth watching? The answer may shock you. Yes, it is worth watching. It got 14 Emmy nominations and won 2. It's got universal praise across the board. It is worth watching if you haven't had the chance to do so yet. It's on Apple TV. The first season is about 9 episodes long and is regarded as a psychological thriller. It follows the story of Mark S. and the microdata refinement team in a company called Lumen Technologies. Now, Lumen Technologies has created a chip which allows the brain to be severed, creating an innie and an outie. The innie for when you're in work and your outie for when you're outside of work. And this is effectively a commentary on the work-life balance because the innie has no idea what's going on outside of work and vice versa. The outie has no idea what's going on inside of work. In universe, this means there's quite a lot of controversies. People don't know what Lumen Technologies is actually doing. And it's also revealed in the show that the innies who are working there also don't know what's going on within the company. So the show is not only a mystery to us as a viewer, but it's a mystery to both sides of the characters and anyone that they interact with outside of their workplace. Overall, the show is incredibly well written and directed. Ben Stiller, yes, the Ben Stiller, is one of the 2 directors of the season, and it does a really good job of only revealing what it wants you to know as the season develops. And there are still a lot of mysteries left unsolved by the end of season 1, heading into season 2, which is finally being confirmed as coming out in January next year. I'm going to be really careful with my wording because I don't want to spoil the show, because if anyone is out there that's not seen it, I highly recommend, if you have Apple TV or if you're looking for something new to watch, then this could be the program for you. One of the things I want to say off the bat is that the show is incredibly well acted. Adam Scott plays the lead character, Mark S., who effectively, as I mentioned before, has an innie and an outie, and he offers such subtle nuances between the 2 versions with his body language that really makes it such an incredible performance. It must be incredibly difficult portraying the innie and outie, and I'd be interested to know what processes he went through and what the other characters went through to decide how they wanted their mannerisms and body and portrayal to be seen between the innie and outie version of the characters they're playing. Another thing that's really strong about this TV show that really adds to the mystery of what's going on in Lumen Technologies is the production design. The office that they go into has like an interesting mix of like 60s, 70s, 80s decor, and it creates this really disjointed, jarring feel when you're watching that I think is probably designed because they want that feel for the office workers, but you're also feeling it as a viewer. And the soundtrack really adds to this with some really eerie music that really builds up to the tension and all those type of things at the crucial moments of the show. Although the jigsaw pieces do begin to add up over the course of season 1, there's still a lot more to complete that puzzle that need to be explained over the course of season 2 and the apparently potential season 3. Given that it's not due out until January, if you're watching this and you haven't watched the show yet, there's still time to watch this show and get on board before season 2 comes out. I can really recommend it. As I said, it's a psychological thriller. The cast is very good at what they do. It's well directed, it's well written, and the mysteries are very intriguing. As I've watched it myself, I've debated, like, if I was in this universe, would I take the procedure? And I don't think I would, but there's definitely times, depending on what job I was in, that I would definitely have thought about it heavier than I necessarily would now. I think it offers a really interesting debate in regards to, like, mentally where people are at. If they were given this option, would they take it? And also, like, how badly people are willing to go in order to get work-life balance. It's another interesting commentary piece and philosophy piece that this story and season raises. There's a lot of TV programs out nowadays that I don't think necessarily have that commitment to commentating on something that's going on in real life, and I think this works really nicely as a comparison piece with how people are feeling about office culture and all things like that in the present day. Overall, I think it's one of the most interesting plots of a TV program to come out in recent years. It's definitely one of my favorite shows. If you're watching any of my other reviews, you'll probably notice that I've said that a couple of times, but Severance is definitely up there with one of the best TV programs I've watched recently. And when I rewatched it, I definitely noticed more about the plot and the story and the mystery than I had done when I'd first watched the show, which is again a sign of a really well-made TV program. For me, I'm calling it a 5 out of 5. Critics are agreeing. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 97%, which is again very, very high. And a lot of reviewers who reviewed at the time also gave it a 5 out of 5. So I think it's worth a watch if you have the time and if you think it's something that might be interesting for you. The only other thing I will say is that it is a bit weird. It is a bit weird. What goes on in Lumen, the way that they have this sort of cult-like atmosphere is a bit weird. As I said, I'm not going to go too into spoilers, but it's such a weird setup in that building that I'd be really interested to know what the payoff is, what the hell Lumen does. I'm intrigued. You've got my attention, Ben Stiller. I'm ready to know the answers. So yeah, that's my review. 5 out of 5. Severance. It's available on Apple TV. Brilliant, brilliant TV program. Very well written, very well acted, very well directed, really well designed. All of it is just puts together a very well written show. I can't give it any more praise than that. And I'm looking forward to season 2 in January. Thanks for watching. I've been Humbear. I'll see you in the next review.